in Nashville, by far and away, consensus agreement across the entire NHL. They win free agency day one by far. They get Steven Stamkos, 4 years at a $32 million deal. Then they get the two years ago now, I guess, playoff MVP, Conn Smythe winner Jonathan Marchessault, 5 years at 25 million. Then they get Brady Shea at 7 years, 7 million per. And then they get Scott Wedgwood and Alex Carrier. Both those guys on a little bit of cheaper deals. Carrier coming in at 3 years, 3.75, and Wedgwood on a 2 year deal, 3 million. Boys, the Nashville Predators they're here to play. We're playing now. Barry Trotz woke up and he chose violence.
Yeah, Barry broke the bank here, and I would say for very, very good reasons here. I feel like I was just as shocked as everyone else when I found out that Steven Stamkos was one, not going to be on the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then two, was going to be on the Nashville Predators. So that's an insane move to me, in a good way for the Preds. 4 years, 32 million for a player of Stamkos's caliber, a guy that has scored 60 goals at one point in his career, to me is a steal.
Yeah, it's unreal. And I mean, had they just gotten Stamkos, they're probably the day one winners already. And getting Marchessault is insane. And then like Brady Shea, nothing to sniff at. I don't know. It's just a masterclass by Barry Trotz, which nothing new there. We know he's capable, but yeah, I mean, I this is a scary team. Like immediately, just a scary team.
And they just locked up Saros long term as well, right?
Yep, and they still got a lot of those good young guys. Evangelista looked good last year. There's a couple other guys in the Milwaukee pipeline that I think are ready to bud if there's injuries and whatnot. So yeah, this is looking like a really good team.
I would say this is looking like a playoff team.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I think we're going farther than just playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say they're gonna win the cup.
They could win their division.
They could win their division. They could be a
Sure.
round three team. I
Yeah.
believe that. I can't remember who said it. It was one of the big insiders, whether it was Pagano, LeBron, one of those guys. But they said after all these moves, they said these guys are now able to beat Colorado and Dallas in a 7 game series.
See, like this is what, like, let's go back to the Kings for a brief second here. You're running into the same kryptonite every year, right? Where you're trying to beat the Oilers, usually in the first round of the playoffs, sometimes the second round or whatever it is. You want, as a fan, you want to see your like GM literally preparing for that again in the offseason and being like, okay, I'm going to treat this as if we're going to have to do that again. And what did we need when we could, like, what didn't we have that made us lose, that kind of thing. That's what Trotz did with Nashville. Like you said, Harry, he's like, look, yesterday we didn't have the team that could beat Colorado or any of those other like Central Division foes. Today, now they do. It's that simple. Go out there and get the shit you need.
Well, and like you said, like they ran into Vancouver
Yeah.
and they couldn't score. They just
Right.
couldn't, not even on their backup goalie or their backup
Yep.
goalie.
Yep.
They couldn't score. So now they've got two guys who are very proven to score, especially in the playoffs. I mean, I love what they did. I really do.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to happen with Askarov because
Yep.
I feel like he could fetch a really big return.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing about Nashville, as I'm looking at their lineup, the only thing I could think, maybe you want to get a little more center depth. I mean, O'Reilly, Novak, Sissons. I don't hate it. I know all three of them had decent years last year, specifically Novak, but maybe you get like one more big gun or like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just thinking here, but it's a great team. I'm looking at their team on paper right now, and I'm already in love with it. I'm adopting them as my second, so that way when the Penguins break my heart, I have
It's
something to
just
root for.
fun when Nashville's
Seventh,
good
but
too.
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, I have the hat now, so they're second.
there
I
you
have the
go.
Nashville Hockey
That's
Club.
that's fair. You do have the hockey club hat.
I bought the stock ahead of time, and now
There you go. You knew the whole time.
One last thing on Nashville before we move on. Like I know you guys saw, but that video of how it all went down with Stammer when he's talking to Colby Armstrong on the show. Oh my God. Like That
What
is
the hell?
just Tampa. What the fuck are you doing? Like that.
Yeah.
That is. I don't know. That's kind of shameful in a way, if
He
you
was
ask
gonna have a
me.
statue, man. Forget
Yeah.
that. That's
Yep.
gone.
He
And
literally
also, like,
was.
what do you think that like if you're Kucherov right now, you're just like, damn, okay, like that's how we get treated around here, I guess. Like, I don't know, what kind of example does that set, like, to your other star players, and like, I don't
Yeah.
know, fans can't be pleased.
It was like that the scene from Toy Story where he's like, I don't want to play with you anymore, and then just like drops the toy onto the ground pretty much.
Well, I know the contract got leaked that Tampa offered him like 8 years at 3 million per, and he turns around and gets 4 years at 8 million per. And it's like that's just a complete insult to your franchise leader in almost every category. Like I put it this way, the Caps and the Pens would never do that to Sid Novi. They just
No.
wouldn't. And I know maybe we're not talking about quite the same breadth of player here, but he's is the franchise leader.
Brought you 2 cups.
Yeah.
Well, one, he was hurt the other year, but
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a weird way that went down.